was I thinking about this morning? It was something I was thinking about this morning. Yeah. I was thinking about how we want God to take us to the next level. But just know your next level is going to require more faith, more trusting in Him. Because of this enemy that's seeking who he may devour, he's coming to try to get that faith from you, that word from you, that trusting in God from you. So your next level will require you to have more faith. And our ultimate goal is to trust God with everything and then with every area of our lives. Because we have an enemy that's like talking all the time, and yeah, but how about if this, and how about if he doesn't do this for you, and then how about if that happened? I suggest that if you're looking for God to do something for you, don't allow those thoughts to come in your mind. I suggest if you're looking for God to do something for you, when those thoughts come in your mind, I trust God. He said He's going to deliver me out of all my afflictions. I trust God. I will not lean on my own understanding. I will acknowledge Him. Him is the word of God, and He will direct my path. No. I trust God. Those thoughts is to get you from not trusting God. Those thoughts is to get you to stay on Satan's territory so you can lean on your own understanding. Because either you're going to lean on God's understanding, which is His word, or you're going to lean on your own understanding. You know, a lot of people say, God does not speak to me. God speaks through His word. Like, you have a word. He's speaking. The Bible is alive and is speaking. And the Bible is like, listen, which is Jesus. And the word of God is like, listen, whatever Satan is trying to tell you, don't fall for the okie doke. Say what I've already said. Say what I've already dealt with. God has dealt with what you're going through already. There's nothing new under the sun. He dealt with it already. That's why there are so many scriptures in the Bible that you can just pick out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for your situation and hold on to it and speak it and meditate on it and hide it in your heart and believe it with everything. Because your enemy will use all kinds of distractions, attractions, all kinds of, people. He will use your body, your health. He will use financial situations because he's like, I got to get that word from him or her. I have to, because that word, the enemy knows that the word of God is perfect, is complete, and is done. When Jesus was on the cross, He said, it's done. It's finished. He finished everything. So if you connect yourself to Jesus, which is the word of God, not Jesus the man, because Jesus is not a man. If you connect yourself to the word of God, whatever you need is finished, is complete, is done. However, your enemy is going to fight you before it manifests. Whatever you ask God for, your enemy is going to fight you. And what he's going to do is play mind games with you, with thoughts, and use people and situations, because he does not want that word to manifest in your life. But you have to keep speaking it. You have to keep meditating on it. You have to keep using it as a weapon to fight against thoughts, because what you're thinking and how you're feeling and your emotions. You have to do the spiritual work. You have to do the spiritual work. If you don't do the spiritual work, you're going to have a problem. You're going to be on repeat. And let me say this, there are some things, there's something in my life that I'm on repeat, and I'm like, Lord, what is it? And it has to only be an area of trust. I need you to trust me with that. I tell people all the time, I know nothing, and I know with everything can happen to my kids. Nothing. Nothing. My mom was the same way. Nothing can happen to. I know God is protecting my children. Nothing can happen to them. But then it's certain there might be another area in my life where I'm like, how about if, when you're talking about that, how about, that means you don't trust God. And what if, and I always say, if it happens to me, it's for me. But when you're going through it, you're like, oh my goodness. Oh Lord. Yeah. You want to be up here? Oh, Satan, he gonna meet you. He gonna meet you to try to not to try to get you from not reaching up here. If you're down here, he will meet you right there, because he's trying to keep pulling you down. And I can't let her read. And every time you go this way, honey, every time something happens that I rejoice. First of all, every time I make a message and then hang up and post a message, here come the enemy. All the time. One day I was like, Lord, I'm gonna stop leaving these messages, because the enemy be right there. As soon as she hit, posted something, I'm like, what the? But that's when you know you're doing something right. And the enemy trying to irritate you and aggravate you. That's the type of week I had. I was like, what is going on? But I said, Lord, I trust you. This week I'm not complaining. I decided I'm not going to complain, because I trust God. Even with, like, I come home and certain things not done, I just be like, you know what? And then I don't want to complain. Something happened to the sewage. I don't want to complain. It's something with the car. I don't want to complain. Lord, I trust you. And you said, that's where I am right now. I don't want to murmur. I don't want to complain. I'm going to trust God. That's it. And whatever happens, Lord, I trust you. Some things happened last week, and I said, Lord, I trust you. And no matter what, I still have to worship you. It doesn't matter the outcome. I want the outcome to be in my favor, but I still have to worship you. You created me to worship you. That's why God created us, to worship him. But we get caught up in the world and their systems, and we get caught up in feelings and emotions, and it pulls us away from worshiping God, because we're irritated and we're aggravated. And God, I thought he was going to do this. And you're called to worship God. That's it. So that's what I've been doing. Lord, I'm called to worship you. Let me worship you. Stay in my word. I gotta please you. Like I said on my last video, I have to please God. I owe him my life. Like my whole life. I owe him my life. Some man that I've known for 4 years, he met at the restaurant. Now, this man, he know of God. Like, I don't know if he be in his word, but it doesn't matter to me, because, I'm not dating, and, it doesn't matter. But he say things about God, but he said, would you consider marrying? I said, no. I said, but if God wanted me to marry, I would have to. But me? Do I want to be married? No. And he looked at me. I said, don't act like you're wasting your time, because I've known him for 4 years. And we might meet up and go to lunch and go, but nah, consider me out. I want to see God. That's it. And I'm going to tell you something, women or men, if you're dealing with anybody that's not in their word, they're going to pull you from the word. I'm not trying to convince you to be in your